Hi everyone, we are going to talk about Chapter 6, Strengthening a Company's Competitive Position. Making the power of a strategy. Making choices that complement a competitive approach and maximize the power of a strategy. Some of the choices are offensive and defensive competitive actions, competitive dynamics and the timing of strategic moves, a scope of operation along the industry's value chain. First, going on the offensive strategic options to improve a firm's market position. No matter which of the 5 generic competitive strategies a firm employs, there are times when a company should go on the offensive to improve its market position and performance. A strategic offensive are called for when a company spots opportunity to gain profitable market share at its rivals' expense, or when a company has no choice but to try to whittle away a strong rival's competitive advantage. The best offensives tend to incorporate several principles. First, focusing relentlessly on building competitive advantage and then striving to convert it into sustainable advantage. Second, applying resources where rivals are least able to defend themselves. Third, employing the element of surprise as opposed to doing what rivals expect and are prepared for. And displaying a capacity for swift and decisive actions to overwhelm rivals. Choosing the basis for competitive. Offensive initiatives that exploit competitor weaknesses stand a better chance of succeeding than do those that challenge competitor strengths, especially if the weaknesses represent important vulnerabilities and where rivals can be caught by surprise with no ready defense. The principal offensive strategy options include the following. 1. Offering an equal good or better product at a lower price. Lower prices can produce market share gains if competitors don't respond with price cuts of their own and if the challenger convinces buyers that its product is just as good or better. 2. Leapfrogging competitors by being first to market with next generation products. In technology-based industry, the opportune time to overtake an entrenched competitor is when there is a shift to the next generation of the technology. 3. Pursuing continuous product innovation to draw sales and market shares away from less innovative rivals. Ongoing introductions of new and improved products can put rivals under tremendous competitive pressure, especially when rivals' new product development capabilities are weak. 4. Pursuing disruptive product innovations to create markets. While this strategy can be riskier and more costly than a strategy of continuous innovation, it can be a game changer if successful. 5. Adopting and improving on the good ideas of other companies, rivals, or otherwise. 6. Using hit and run or guerrilla warfare tactics to grab market share from complacent or distracted rivals. 7. Launching a preemptive strike to secure an industry limited resources or capture a rare opportunity. Choosing which rivals to attack. Offensive-minded firms need to analyze which of their rivals to challenge as well as how to mold the challenges. The following are the best targets for offensive attacks. First, market leaders that are vulnerable. Offensive attacks make good sense when a company that leads in terms of market share is not a true leader in terms of serving the market well. Signs of leader vulnerability include unhappy buyers, an inferior product line, technology or outdated plans and equipment, a preoccupation with diversification into other industries, and financial problems. Second, runner-up firms with weaknesses in areas where the challenger is strong. Runner-up firms are an especially attractive target when a challenger resources and capabilities are well suited to exploiting their weaknesses. Third, struggling enterprises that are on the verge of going under. Challenging a hard-pressed rival in ways that further sap its financial strength and competitive position can weaken its and hasten its exit from the market. Fourth, small local and regional firms with limited capabilities. Blue ocean strategy, a special kind of offensive. Strategy seeks to gain a dramatic and durable competitive advantage by abandoning efforts to beat out competitors in exciting markets and instead inventing a new market segment that renders exciting competitors irrelevant and allows a company to create and capture altogether new demand. A terrific example of such blue ocean market space is the online action industry that eBay created and now dominates. Cirque du Soleil reinvented the circus by pulling in a whole new group of customers, adults and corporate clients, who not only were known customers of traditional circuses, but also were willing to pay several times more than the price of a conventional circus ticket to have a sophisticated entertainment experience, featuring the stunning visuals and star quality acrobatic acts. Defensive strategies protecting market position and competitive advantage. In a competitive market, all firms are subject to offensive challenges from rivals. The defensive strategies are to lower the risk of being attacked, weaken the impact of any attack that occurs, and induce challengers to aim their efforts at other rivals. Defensive strategies can take either of two forms: actions to block challengers or actions to signal the likelihood of a strong relation.
Now we are going to talk about timing a company's offensive and defensive strategic moves. When to make a strategic move is often as crucial as what move to make, timing is especially important when first mover advantages or disadvantages exist. Under certain conditions, being first to initiate a strategic move can have a high payoff in the form of a competitive advantage that later movers can dislodge. Moving first is no guarantee of success. However, since first movers also face some significant disadvantages, the potential for first mover advantages. Market pioneers and other types of first movers typically bear greater risks and greater development costs than firms that move later. If the market responds well to its initial move, the pioneer will benefit from a monopoly position. There are 5 such conditions in which first mover advantages are most likely to arise. First, when pioneering helps build a firm's reputation and creates a strong brand loyalty. Second, when a first mover's customer will thread after face significant switching costs. 3. When property rights protections through rapid imitation of the initial move. 4. When an early lead enables the first mover to move down the learning curve ahead of rivals. And 5. When a first mover can set the technical standard for the industry. On the other hand, we can see the potential for late mover advantages or first mover disadvantages. These arise in 4 instances. First, when the costs of pioneering are high relative to the benefits accrued and imitate followers can achieve similar benefits with far lower costs. Second, when an innovator's products are somewhat primitive and do not live up to buyer expectations, this allows a follower with better performing products to win. Third, when rapid market evolution gives second movers the opening to leapfrog a first mover's product with more attractive next version products. And the last one, when market uncertainties make it difficult to ascertain what will eventually succeed, allowing late movers to wait until these needs are clarified. At the end, the pros and cons of being a first mover versus a fast follower versus a late mover matters whether the race to market leadership in a particular industry is a marathon or a sprint. In this case, we have an example. Amazon.com's first mover advantage in online retailing. Amazon, pathway to become the world's largest online retailer, began in 1994 when Jeff Bezos, a Manhattan hedge fund analyst at the time, noticed that the number of internet users was increasing by 2.3,000% annually. Bezos saw the tremendous growth as an opportunity to sell products online that could be demanded by a large number of internet users and could be easily shipped. Amazon's early entry into online retailing had delivered a first-mover advantage, but between 2000 and 2013, Bezos undertook a series of additional strategic initiatives to solidify the company's number one ranking in the industry. Bezos wanted to move preparedly against potential rivals and ensure that as demand continued to grow, the company could continue to offer its customers the best selection, the lowest prices, and the cheapest and most convenient delivery. The company also expanded its product line to include sporting goods, tools, toys, grocery items, electronics, and digital music downloads, giving it another means of maintaining experience and scale-based advantages. Strengthening a company's market position via its scope of operations. These decisions concern the scope of a company's operations, the breadth of its activities, and the extent of its market reach. Decisions regarding the scope of the firm's focus on which activities a firm will perform internally and which it will not. Consider, for example, Ralph Lauren Corporation, in contrast to Red Essentials, a boutique clothing store that sells a pair at a single retail store. Ralph Lauren designs, markets, and distributes fashionable apparel and other merchandise to more than 10,000 major department stores and specialty retailers throughout the world. Scope decisions also concern which segments of the market to serve, decisions that can include geographic market segments as well as product and service segments. Several dimensions of firm scope have relevance for business-level strategy in terms of their capacity to strengthen a company's position in a given market. These include the firm's horizontal scope and the firm's vertical scope. First, we are going to talk about the horizontal merger and acquisition strategies. Mergers and acquisitions are much used strategic options to strengthen a company's market position. A merger is the combining of two or more companies into a single corporate entity, with a new created company often taking on a new name. An acquisition is a combination in which one company, the acquirer, purchases and absorbs the operations of another, the acquired. Horizontal mergers and acquisitions, which involve combining the operations of firms within the same product or service market, provide an effective means for firms to rapidly increase the scale and horizontal scope of their core business. For example, the merger of AMR Corporation, parent of American Airlines, with US Airways has increased the airline's scale of operations and extended their reach geographically to create the world's largest airline.
Now we're going to talk about the vertical integration strategies. The first one is a vertically integrated firm. It is one that participates in multiple segments or stages of an industry, overall the value chain. A good example of a vertical integrated firm is Maple Leaf Foods, a major Canadian producer of fresh and processed meals whose best-selling brands include Maple Leaf. Maple Leaf Foods participates in hog and poultry production, with company-owned hog and poultry farms. It has its own meat processing and rendering facilities. It packages its products and distributes them from company-owned distribution center, and it conducts marketing, sales, and customer service. Maple Leaf does not participate in the final stage of the meat processing vertical chain, the retailing stage. Now, vertical integration strategy can expand the firm's range of activities backward into its source of supply or forward toward end users of its products. When Tiffany Co., a manufacturer and retailer of fine jewelry, began sourcing and polishing its own diamonds, it integrates backward along the diamond supply chain. The types of vertical integration strategy. We have three types. These ones can be used for a firm that can pursue vertical integration by starting its own operation in other stages of the vertical activity change or by acquiring a company already performing the activities it wants to bring in-house. The first one is the full integration that consists in participating in all stages of the vertical change. The second one is the partial integration, building positions in selected stages of the vertical change. And the last one is the topper integration, which involves a mix of in-house and outsourced activity in any given stage of the vertical change. Backward integration towards suppliers. Integrating backwards by achieving the same scale economies as outside suppliers, low-cost-based competitive advantage, matching or beating suppliers' production efficiency with no drop-off, quality differentiation based on competitive advantage. Reasons for integrating backwards. The first one is the reduction of supplier power. The second one, the reduction in cost of major inputs. The third one, assurance of the supply and flow of critical inputs. And the last one is the protection of proprietary know-how. We have an example of this backward integration towards suppliers, that is the Spanish clothing maker Inditex. Inditex has backward integrated into fabric making as well as garment design and manufacture for its successful Zara brand. By tightly controlling the processes and postponing dyeing until later stage, Zara can respond quickly to change in fashion trends and supply its customers with the hottest items. Integrating forward to enhance competitiveness. Reasons for integrating forward. The first one is to lower overall cost by increasing channel activity efficiency relative to competitors. Second one is to increase bargaining power through control of channel activities. The third one to gain better access to end users. Fourth one is to strengthen and reinforce brand awareness. And the fifth one is to increase product differentiation. To gain better access to end users, for example, we have Harley's Company. Harley's Company-owned retail stores are essentially little museums filled with iconography that provide an environment conducive to selling not only motorcycles and gear, but also memorability, clothing, and other items featuring the brand. Insurance companies and brokerages like Allstate and Edward Jones can make consumers' interactions with local agents and office personnel a differentiation feature by focusing on building relationships. Strategic alliances and partnerships. A strategic alliance consists in a formal agreement between two or more separate firms in which they agree to work cooperatively toward common objectives. There is another one that is the joint venture. That is a type of strategic alliance in which the partners set up an independent corporate entity that they own and control jointly, sharing it in its revenues and expenses. Typically, they involve shared financial responsibility, joint contribution of resources and capabilities, shared risk, shared control, and mutual dependence. Since joint venture involves setting up a mutually owned businesses, they tend to be more durable but also riskier than other arrangements. If a strategic alliance is not working out, a partner can choose to simply walk away or reduce its commitment to collaborate anytime. Capturing the benefits of strategic alliances. The extent to which companies benefit from entering alliances and partnerships seems to be a function of 6 factors. The first one is picking a good partner. A good partner must bring complementary strengths to the relationship. In addition, a good partner needs to share the company's vision about the overall purpose of the alliance and to have specific goals that either match or complement those of the company. Strong partnerships also depend on good chemistry among key personal and compatible views about how the alliance should be structured and managed. The second one is being sensitive to cultural differences. Cultural differences among companies can make it difficult for their personnel to work. Cultural differences can be problematic among companies from the same country, but when the partners have different national origins, the problems are often magnified. Unless there is respect among all the parties for cultural differences, including those stemming from different local cultures and local business practices, productive working relationships are unlikely to emerge. The third one is recognizing that the alliance must benefit both sides. Information must be shared as well as gained, and the relationship must feel right and trustful. If either partner plays games with information or tries to take advantage of the other, the resulting friction can quickly erode the value of further collaboration. The fourth one is the ensuring that both parties live up to their commitments. Both parties must deliver on their commitments for the alliance to produce the intended benefits. The division of work must be perceived as apportionate, and the caliber of the benefits received on both sides has to be perceived as adequate. Fifth one is the structuring the decision-making process so that the actions can be taken swiftly when needed. In many instances, the fast pace of technology and competitive changes dictates an equally fast decision-making process. If the parties get bogged down in the discussions or in gaining internal approval or higher-ups, the alliance can turn into an anchor of delay and inaction. The sixth one and the final is managing the learning process and then adjusting the alliance agreement over time to lead new circumstances. One of the keys to long-lasting success is adapting the nature and structure of the alliance to be responsive to shifting market conditions, emerging technologies, and changing customer requirements. Wise allies are quick to recognize the merit of an involving collaborate arrangement, where adjustments are made to accommodate changing conditions and to overcome whatever problems arise in establishing an effective working relationship. The drawbacks of strategic alliance and partnerships. Culture clash and integration problems due to different management style and business practice. Anticipated gains do not materialize due to an overly optimistic view of the synergies of a poor fit of partners' resources and capabilities. Risk of becoming dependent on partner firms for essential expertise and capabilities. Protection of proprietary technologies, knowledge bases, or trade secrets from partners who are rivals. Principal advantages of strategic alliance. They lower investment cost and risk for each partner by facilitating resource pooling and risk sharing. They also are more flexible organizational forms and allow for a more adaptive response to changing conditions. Finally, they are more rapidly deployed, a critical factor when speed is of the essence. Thank you so much for your attention.